What's up guys, it's Volka and welcome to a new build guide video. So this time we have something interesting with the Hammerdin. So the build itself is a classic bleed Hammerdin, nothing that crazy about it, it's as you can see basic spiral hammer gameplay. You can do a lot of damage with the bleed. I don't have really like almost any gear for damage in this gameplay, but yeah, you can do enough damage and all that, but that's not really the main point of the build. The main point is, as you can see, I actually have a lot of ward as a paladin. So what we're doing with this build, we're stacking strength with cleaver solution. So basically that item makes us makes your int equal to your strength. So get a lot of ward retention out of it. So strength stacking and then also health regen stacking with Vessel of Strife. So really nice deck. Interesting deck and kind of experimenting with it, and you can get really tanky with this setup. So I'm not even close to like even half of the potential with this. I have still like really low health regen, so which is of course your most important defensive stat. So you can have over 1000 health regen with this build. So and so that's gonna mean that you're gonna have over 5000 stable ward, for example, and a lot of health regen, a lot of ward regen. So basically, it's gonna be pretty much one of the tankiest Sentinel builds out there. If you have the full setup with all the gear, which is not that easy to get. I mean, especially if you also want to go for the DPS uniques with the legendary potential. So getting LP on all of them. It's not that easy, but if you happen to get it, this is gonna be really great for like arena pushing, really safe playstyle if you play it well with the spiral hammers, basically just like leaving them behind you, and not even touching the enemies. So this is gonna be really super nice for arena pushing. So basically the tankiness and the sustain and all the ward tech is the main highlight of the build. And I would definitely play something else for like monolith farming. It's not really fast for monolith, but you would play like Nova Hammerdin, for example, or Smite Hammerdin for monolith. But basically gear this guy up and go to arena and just like basically get infinite waves. Should be pretty crazy. Yeah, and give you kind of like an idea what kind of ward to expect with this build. So as I said, my setup is very far from like a min-max setup. I don't have any health regen on the boots or gloves, for example. So getting boots with 1 LP should be pretty doable, but yeah, the gloves might be hard, but you only need 1 LP though. So I have about 2k stable ward at the moment, so I have like only 70 strength, so 400 ward retention. So like this can be much higher, and you can have way more health regen. This is 400 health regen only, so you can have 1000 health regen just like sitting still like this without any buffs. So if I buff up with sigils here, so going for 5 sigils, you can see I have 580 health regen. So already you can see my ward is going up much more. But then if we add couple of health regen affixes on the gear, so I have 1 health regen affix only. 1 flat health regen here on the helmet. So if we add gloves and then boots, so this is T7 and then this is T6 health regen. So now we have quite a bit. So I have 770 health regen without any buffs. So you can see it's slowly going up. So it's gonna stabilize around like 3.5k it seems like. So that's already 3.5k stable ward with 770. And so you would get of course more strength, so more ward retention, and get exalted health regen here, for example. Get higher affix here on the health regen, like D7 health regen increase. I get higher rolls on the vessel, even though mine is pretty okay, but the increased health regen would be nice. So yeah, about 3.5k stabilized now. Then if I have sigils, so going for the 5, so now it's 1k, already over 1k health regen. So now I'm close to that 5k point already with sigils. So you can imagine this can get really insane. Basically, it can like really get just crazy. And of course, as you can see, max block with the shield, and the HP is draining, but you know, you just insta regen it back, so it's nothing, you know, basically it's just good for you for the smite healing. So this is just like amazing, this shield as well. But yeah, as you can see, it's about 5k ward already. And like I said, you can get even more than this, and this is not even impossible to get, especially if you don't go for like Salt the Wounds, for example. Alright, so starting with Hammer Throw here, which is our main damage skill, and what we use to apply the bleeds on enemies. So starting with the Spiral Node, so you always want to go for this first, and then for the extra projectiles. And then we max out the mana, minus mana cost here, also get some more damage on that. And then go for the big damage multiplier here. So all of this applies to the bleeds we apply with the skill, and then the rest of the points just put them in the attack speed here. And then we have Sigils of Hope, like on pretty much every Sentinel build. So going for the chance to summon on kill, get some increased damage here also per sigil. And this is travel points. We don't really care about endurance threshold that much on this build, because we are actually, you know, we are a ward build, so it doesn't make as much of a difference. And then go for the extra sigil, so +1, then another +1 here. And this is really important, this health regen here. So we double the health regen. And with 5 sigils we have plus 300% increase health regen if we have 5 sigils up. So this is really impactful. And the rest of the points, if you need block chance to cap, you can place the points here. And then for Smite, so this is mostly just for getting a bit of buffs on the build. It's not really a must-have, but it's of course nice to have. So we get this by with this idle affix. So basically you spam your hammer throw and you proc smite automatically. So only one idle is needed for this build. So this gives 20% attack speed after you hit with the smite, so a bit of deeps there. And then this is the really big one here. So 150% increase health regen and also some mana regen on heal. So of course you need to have HP to be, like, you have to be missing HP to be healed. So that's why the Bulwark Shield is nice, because it does drain your HP, so there is pretty much always something to heal. So that's why this works, even though we have a ward and, you know, we're most of the time full HP. And then this we get cleanse chance also here when you get healed by smite. But this is not mandatory, so you could if you do like hard content, you can spec rebuke, like I say here. You can spec rebuke instead of the smite, for example, if you want to like face tank bosses over the smite. But it's a bit of, you know, nice buff basically. And when you're mapping, just you don't need to have this on your bar, so you can just have shield rush on the bar or lunge, whatever you want to use, and you don't need to spec these movement skills. And then for Volatile Reversal, so this is of course a pretty classic setup. So going for the Void Rifts and the low cooldown with this, and so basically you get all the more damage you can on Reversal. So this is 30% increased damage taken, and this is 60% increased damage taken. So 90% increased damage taken, which is basically more damage because of the way it works. So that's a lot of damage, and then gets even a bit of lower cooldown here also. And the last skill we have is Holy Aura, of course, as a paladin. So this actually grants us a lot of defense on the setup. So of course we go for the maximum elemental rest here and endurance, so max this out. And then with the ward setup, we do want to go for the ward gain on block. So this is actually a lot of sustain, especially if you take a lot of like small hits. You can basically just keep it up with this. Really nice. And then health regen here, not a huge value, but still nice. And then poison rest, cleanse ailments, really good stuff. And then this is really good for the haste and throwing attack speed. And then moving on to the passives, so starting with Sentinel here, max out the strength, vitality, the armor clad, classic, really good points. Of course on this build we are stacking a lot of strength, and the health regen here is nice, so really good stuff. And then this just travel points to get to the attack speed. So lots of attack speed, more damage basically, you apply more bleeds. And then if you go in the Void Knight here, so maxing out the resistance here, and to get the crit multi per point spent in Void. Now, this is of course only useful if you are using Salt the Wounds, the gloves, for crit multi. But I pretty much always max out the resistance here, even if you don't need this one, the Void Corruption, you can still max out the res. And of course we do need to have at least 5 points to get Volatile. And then for the Forge Guard, so these are gonna be a lot of value out of the strength, because we are stacking strength, so that's a nice bit of it. And then the 1 block chance node here, so you always want to pick up all the block chance nodes, so 1 point in each of the block nodes. And there's also 1 block node here in Paladin, so get that as well. And in Paladin tree here, so get the physical pen, max it out, max out the HP, and pretty much 6 points out of 7 here on the necrotic res. If you need a bit more necrotic res, of course you can take 1 point out, for example, from the HP here and put it on the necrotic res. And then 1 point here, basically a travel point. You could also, if you want some more armor, you could get more points here, but usually we are pretty low on points, so you can't really have more than 1. But this is the one you actually want to get always, so +5 block chance and even some health gain on block, so pretty easy to cap your block with this setup. And then 7 points here, so you get this 7 points here for the crit avoidance, and then the crit avoidance blessing, and you don't need anything else, so you basically cap out your crit avoidance really easy. And of course if you have max rolled crit avoidance blessing, so 70%, you can just have 6 points here. So, and yeah, then for the DPS points, so this is a lot of damage for the bleed we're doing, so more bleed chance, basically 120% bleed chance, and then physical penetration with bleed, so lots of damage these points here. And then the last points here, increase HP, increase damage, really high value points, especially for the HP, so always good to max these out. Alright, and let's get into the gears. So before we start, we have like a nice stat goals setup here on the macro guide. So you're gonna have a bit lower HP, as you saw there on my build as well, so about like 2.5k HP, but of course that's we got all the HP we can like really easy, and then we go for health regen and ward, lots of armor, so you can get 70% pretty easy, and then the 5000 stable ward and more, and a lot of ward retention, a lot of health regen, max block chance, a good block effectiveness, so up to like 60% DR from the block, so really good, really nice stats there. So let's get into the gear. So of course Cleaver, Solution, and Vessel of Strife, so stacking strength, getting free int, and yeah, that's super nice, this setup. And yeah, getting health regen, apply the ward, building a lot of strength, building a lot of health regen, so getting bleed chance on the chest here, strength, health regen, HP, and physical penetration with bleed sealed, and then also same here, but you can also have flat health regen on the helmet, and you can also get flat health regen on gloves and boots. So like I said, getting 1 LP Salted Wounds with affix is gonna be pretty hard to get, but you can also go for just Exalted Gloves, for example, and then the boots are really nice for damage too. So you kind of do want to have these items, and get to 1 LP health regen would be really nice. Would be really nice to have both. So of course with this item we get crit multi, and it gets converted into a physical pen. Also has really nice stats on the item as well, resistance and all that, so really nice. But if you don't go for Salted Wounds, you don't need the crit multi blessing here either, so yeah, that's nice to have. And then the boots give you more damage to moving enemies and stuff like that, so really nice. And the belt, health regen belt, so this actually nobody ever used this before, but now it's actually really good, this belt. So basically same value as a T7, the health regen on it, so really good. And then you can get some HP on it, maybe cleanse as well if you can. And then since we have a lot of attributes, you can go for red ring, and getting the 180 total attributes is really easy, of course, since we have a lot of lot of attributes basically, but you can kind of only go for one, because we need one ring with the minus throwing mana cost affix sealed. So it's pretty important to keep up your mana. So basically hammer costs like 2 mana only, so you can only really go for one red ring. And yeah, then on the shield, like I said, yeah, we have the bulwark shield, max block chance with it easy, get armor, and the HP drain basically is a buff for this build, so we actually get healed by the smite, and we get the buffs from the smite that way. And Aurora's time glass, really good stats as well. Even the ward retention is really great for this. And you know, if you actually go like low HP, then you actually have basically doubles your life pool kind of. So really good. Of course, these aren't mandatory, but like Red Ring and Aurora's, it's not mandatory, but really nice to have. But the health regen, like stacking health regen and strength, that is kind of, you know, you definitely want to have a good amount of health regen before you go for the ward. And but you can get by with pretty low regen, like you saw there. Like I only had 400, and that's, you can get that with like one flat health regen affix and a bit of increases basically. And yeah, the idols, so going for bleed duration, block effect idols. Really nice damage on bosses, especially the bleed duration, and this smite idol here, just to proc the smite, and block effect, and then HP and resistances on the 2 other idols. And yeah, blessings, crit multi with salt the wounds, like I said, and then you can go HP if you're not using salt the wounds, health regen of course, and crit avoidance, so cap it easy with the passive in paladin. And then we actually need to go for frailty on with all these uniques, but you basically don't really have any space to get frailty on the gear. So, and we have a lot of armor anyway, so you don't really even need the armor blessing. It would only give you a little bit of DR, like maybe like 3 or 4% physical DR. So go for frailty. If you don't need the frailty, if you have it already, go for armor, like flat armor, and then block chance here, block effect. So we get like super easy block cap with this shield. So that's pretty much the setup for the ward stuff. And then we also have, you know, on the best in slot planner, we have the same thing, just with more LP on the items. So you can check all of this out. Still keeping it realistic, of course, but some might be hard to get at this point. But the end game setup is like not too hard to get, you know, but still needs a bit of grinding. So this is definitely more of an end game setup, and more for, you know, arena and like stuff like that, arena pushing. And then we also have this advanced setup. So this is basically for if you don't have the health regen gear yet, you know, the vessel and all that. So this is the easier to build, just a basic bleed Hammerdin with going for HP and nothing crazy. You can check all of this out on the guide. Yeah, and bleeding heart is pretty important for the health setup. So we have some leech. You can also go for the for this thing, the chalice item. You can also go for this if you have it for the health setup. So basically we have 2 different setups here with this build. So yeah, that's the build. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe for more high quality Last Epoch content. See you in the next one.